Hi, I'm Simon. I'm making this video to show how I do diagonal parking because I get a lot of questions about it when I post photos of my work. I've picked up things from a few YouTube videos, and I'm going to provide links to those things down in the bottom. I'll also post information about the pattern I'm working and the software I'm using. So the diagonal part is just a way to work so that you avoid grid lines, and it's also fun because you get to the middle faster and you get to see more of your pattern as opposed to working in columns or rows. Let me see. So I'll show you how you start. I would start with your chart. Let's see. Okay, I had a thing on my phone. You start by marking your chart or your software and these diagonal rows. Well, you make you highlight the diagonal. I like to have, here's a square grid, a 10 by 10 grid. I like to have one stitch on the bottom, 10 stitches at the top. So my first highlighted thing is one behind the first, and it goes up so that the last one is in the next square. And let's see, you can do this on a paper pattern, and you can do this with Easy PDF. I haven't tried others, but I'm pretty sure you can find a way to do this. And what you'll do is you start from the last part. So you'll start with these 2 stitches, and then you'll move on to this stitch. Let's see, this. And you'll move on to that stitch, and then you'll move on to these stitches. You work one stitch at a time, like on, let's see, this row right here. You'd work that stitch first, then you'd work that stitch next, then you'd work that stitch next, and you keep going until you get down here again. Now when there are more than one of the same symbol in a row, like here, you would park your thread in the first stitch and not in the third stitch, not the first occurrence. But for other ones, like up here, you would park in the first occurrence of that square. So let's see if I can, well, we'll just leave that. I'm going to just start off, and I can show you a few things, and I'll probably just keep stitching for several lines. So once you've seen what you want to see, you can just stop watching the video. It's already 3 minutes long, my goodness. Let's see. Okay, so where I've started, let me see how I can work this. Where I've started here, oops, sorry about that. See, I have this. Right here, I have a stitch that's missing. Let's see. Well, there we go. A stitch that's missing, and it's right here on my chart. So I use the Vanna Pfeiffer method for starting a thread. Let me see. How am I going to do this? Come up in the center. Go down in the upper right. Nope. Upper right. Pull that through. Go to the back and pull this until you have just a little bit left. Let's see. There we go. You're going to hold that with your finger. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that here. And then you this is hard to do. Okay, I see. There we go. You come out the lower left and go back down in the center. And then you come back out in the lower right. Now you flip over to the back. And you're gonna cut this thread very short. So let's see, cut it very short. I didn't cut both of them. Let's see. So that's how you do it. Okay. So we got the first leg of my stitch there, and I'm gonna pull through for the top leg, and then I check my chart to see where that symbol occurs again, and as you can see it doesn't occur again. Let me take these off. Here's another occurrence, but let's see. Here's another occurrence, but it's not in my current diagonal. So as you can see, it's not in my 40 blocks that I like to use, 40 grids. So I'm gonna have to tie it off right here. And because I usually tie off in the next square, unless the next square is full or is going to be filled by a new thread. So I'm going to use this method discussed by Dana, and starting and finishing. I'll have a link, but let's see. I'll show you how I do that. Let's see. Come up in the middle of the bottom of the square. Go down in the center without catching the top leg. Come back up in your first stitch. It's just still working. Come back up in your first stitch and go down in your same center stitch. I need some light. There we go. And then cut this off short on the back. Let's see. Let me see if I can do it this way. So you can see how short I cut it. All right, it should get easier now. Here we go at the start of the next row. And we start in the first one there. And see, you have to do it like this. Now the next occurrence of this stitch is here at the end of that row, one from the end. So I'm going to come up in that next stitch. Can you see me? No. Yeah. There we go. Next stitch is this bomb thing. There we go. And the next occurrence of